My name is Hyla Crane, and I'm the Executive Director, and we're thrilled that you could join us for another edition of Art Center Live. As always, we have a special guest, but today is a really special guest. With us today is Val Simon, who is the publisher of the Marco Island hometown paper, the Coastal Breeze, which I'm reading here. And Coastal Breeze has also been our media sponsor for the last several years. And we invited Val to join us for today to have a little conversation, but also so that we could thank her for the support from the Coastal Breeze. Hi, Val. How are you doing?
Hi, good. Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity.
Well, we are thrilled that you can be with us again. The support from organizations, from businesses, from our sponsors means all the world to us. We couldn't do it without you, and obviously over the last 18 months it meant more than ever as there were challenges that we hadn't faced before, which hopefully we can move forward from. But just out of curiosity, what has been the paper's philanthropic philosophy here on Marco and in the area, surrounding area that you serve?
I think our attitude has always been, we're a community newspaper. We live here, we work here, we play here. And, it's important to us to support the community. And we do it through things like the Center for the Arts and the Historical Society. And, those are the things that are important to us as a community. And we were just having a conversation about, the conversation that art brings. And I think that's important for a community. It's especially during the pandemic, those are things that you really need to have. And we have always said, yes, people do go over the bridge. They leave the island, but they come back, and this community is so important. It really is. And it's very unique. I feel it's very unique. And so anything we can do, we support the Fire Foundation, the Chamber of Commerce. There's a lot of stuff that we try to support.
Well, we couldn't do it without you, and we are grateful that arts and culture make up a part of your philanthropic package of sponsorship, as it were. We are very proud to have you as part of our Art Center family in this very special way. Now, Val, I'd like to learn a little bit more about the Coastal Breeze. How long has it been in existence? How did it come about?
Coastal Breeze News, I've been in newspapers forever. I'm aging myself, but it's well over 40 years. And I've worked for independent papers. I worked for large corporations. And what happened was I actually lived in the Caribbean, and I worked for a privately owned newspaper. I was down there for about 10 years, came back to the US, and I went to work for the Marco Island Sun-Times. The Sun-Times was owned by Matt Roseboom, Tracy Tikas, and Tony Lawson. And they had started the paper a couple of years before I got here. And then I kind of, we sort of brought the paper to a different level. And I started working when I moved here, I was going to retire. I wasn't going to work anymore. And yeah. So, and I had two little kids. I had a 3-year-old and an infant. So I thought, okay, well, I can deliver papers. I'm a bored housewife. So I can deliver papers. I'm not committed to that. If it's raining and I don't want to do it anymore, I'll just not do it, And so I started that way, and very quickly it was, oh, can you run our front desk? Okay. Oh, can you sell ads? Okay. Oh, can you be the ad manager? Okay. And pretty soon it came to, somebody's looking to buy us. Will you help us with negotiations? Will you be a part of that? And I said, sure. And because I had worked for corporations before, and it was, it was just sort of a natural. So they sold the paper. They sold the paper to Gannett. And, Gannett is one of the largest newspaper corporations in the world. And it's very, very different to be an independently owned paper and make your own decisions and cover the things you want to do than it is to be run by a large corporation. And in this instance, their closest paper at that time was Fort Myers. And so, they kept saying things like, well, in Lehigh, we do this. Marco is not Lehigh.
No.
Well, in Fort Myers, we do this. Marco is not Fort Myers. And so, there was always a lot of friction there in regards to what they wanted to do corporate wise versus the way we had always done things. So they bought the Sun-Times. We had that friction for about 3 years and I left. And I really wasn't sure what I was going to do. And so I was at home and I, tossed around the idea of starting my own paper. And the first thing my kids were like right there saying, yeah, Mom, you need to do that. You need to do that. Because by now they're much older. And I just had a lot of support from people when I would mention the idea. I remember a couple of people and they were like, if anybody can do that, you can do that. You can start a paper. Now, how crazy to start a third paper on a tiny island. And, I went ahead and did it. I remember a banker telling me, boy, you must be nuts. You must be a glutton for punishment. And, I started the paper. And at that time, you had 2 other papers that were both corporate owned. So I looked at it as an independent voice because at that point there wasn't an independent voice. So that was the premise on which we started and which we grew. And as corporations do, they have a tendency to kind of take each other over. And Gannett bought Naples Daily News. They acquired the Naples Daily. That means they acquired the Eagle. And because they had been around so much longer, they folded the Sun-Times. Otherwise, they were competing in this tiny market with themselves, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so it's just been our premise. Interestingly enough, I think as a large corporation, they have really wanted to get away from the print editions and especially the smaller community papers because it's hard to manage those little tiny ancillary publications from one big giant home office, maybe in Virginia or whether it be Fort Myers. It's hard to make those judgment calls like on content because you don't live here. You don't know the community. And so that's how Coastal Breeze has survived. I think once I started Coastal Breeze, very quickly, it took on a life of its own. And people loved this paper. And I used to say that about the Sun-Times when I had started with them. I had never seen a newspaper in my 40-some years that you could walk up to a store with a bundle of papers and people would come running up waiting for that paper. This community, they are behind Coastal Breeze all the way. And it really took on a life of its own. It's really not my paper. It's the community's paper.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, it's really easy to do because it's their paper.
Well, I have to tell. So, how long has the Coastal Breeze been around?
It will be 12 years old January 10th.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. It's really incredible. And it is remarkable that you have continued to exist in print form. I think you mentioned we've seen a lot of publications, newspapers, even some magazines that have gone to virtual platforms. And we understand that can sometimes be more cost efficient, but I think this is a place where we want to pick up our paper and read it.
Exactly.
Now, I know when I first came to Marco, the Coastal Breeze came out every 2 weeks.
Right.
It had almost a sort of editorial feel. It felt slightly almost like more of a periodical than a
Right.
newspaper. Now, that's changed, correct?
Right. We called ourselves, at that time, we called ourselves more of a news magazine because we would have, our articles had to be out for 2 weeks. So you didn't want something, you don't want to print something that, 2 days from now is going to be old news. It would instantly date you. And so, we would try to take a look at some of the bigger topics, the hot issues, and not, sort of be a blow by blow. That we did every year. We would talk about going weekly. Every year we talked about it. Every year the staff would come back and say, no, don't do it. It's going to be twice the work. Don't do it. And I tried to say it's not going to be twice the work because you're not going to have the big highs and the low lows. It's just going to level off. And finally, for our 10th anniversary, we decided if we don't go weekly now, we never will. And so in 2019, in November 2019, we kicked off going weekly. And we've been weekly ever since. So we do cover a lot more news. And, we still have all of the community-oriented things, but we do cover more news, city council, that type of thing.
Quite a time starting in November of 2019 to make a major change like that then would be implemented during what, again, were the most unusual and certainly most challenging times. And I know that the Coastal Breeze was coming out weekly through all of that. And I know I looked forward to getting it on Thursdays. It's certainly the paper that I enjoy reading. So I thank you for that. With all of this time with the Coastal Breeze, what has been your proudest moment, Val?
Oh my goodness, my proudest moment. Not coverage wise, although we have had some what I consider really fantastic newspapers. We've won lots of awards through the trade associations that we have participated in, whether it be Florida Press or the Community Papers of Florida or the Association of Community Publishers. We've won a lot of awards there. My personal moment that meant the most to me, and I'm going to cry, we occasionally work with Marco Island Academy. And so the teacher called me up and said, gee, we need you here on this day between this and that. And I said, okay, fine. And I got there and they were presenting me with an award. And I just thought that was the nicest thing, a little trophy. And it was so funny to me. It was very funny because, and I told this to my mom, which is why I'm getting emotional. It was funny because they called me, and 99% of the time I would say, well, what time do you want me there? What am I doing? Why am I covering this? What is the topic? Who else is going to be there? And for whatever reason, at that time, I didn't do any of that. I don't know if I was busy or what. And I just said, okay, fine. You need me here that date and time, I'll be there. And I showed up and it was, their class talking to me about their journalism class and, how we print their newspaper, the kids' newspaper, and we insert it in the paper. And so they were giving me this award. And you know me personally, so my mother had Alzheimer's. And I was talking to her on the phone one day and I told her, I said, I'm such a lousy reporter. I didn't even ask why they wanted me there. And she thought that was the funniest thing in the whole world. And
you're not a lousy reporter, Val. You're a great reporter. You're just very, very busy because I know keeping this publication going in the way that you do and the amount of time and effort that you put into this is just tremendous.
It is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But it was so neat that my mom actually caught the joke. So,
My last question to you, because you clearly have had a very long career in publishing in the newspaper business, who or what has been a major influence on you in your professional life?
in my professional life, it's probably a variety of people. I can't say any one person. Um, my kids really inspired me and encouraged me to do my own thing. So that's what I did. I have a friend on the East Coast, Peter Jackson. I went to work for him sight unseen. He had just started a publication. I learned a lot from that. And I had a publisher, Brian Uzel, also in Cayman, and I just thought the world of him. Um, he passed away a couple years ago as well. And I think outside of that would be Tom Krekel. And he hired me for my first newspaper job. And he said that they had 250 applicants, some with PhDs and master's degrees. And he said, "Do you know why I hired you?" And I said, "No, why?" And he said, "Your enthusiasm." And that has always stuck with me as well. So you can teach a lot of things, you can't teach enthusiasm.
You are right. And we are so lucky that through all of that journey, you have ended up here on Marco, and you are the one who puts together this fabulous publication that serves our community so well, Val. Again, we want to thank you. Thank you for all that you've done for us here at the Marco Island Center for the Arts. We really appreciate it. Even sending your children here to take classes with us. They are great artists. I want to thank my friends out there for joining us today. We do have a special treat. We will be streaming live tomorrow at 4 o'clock with Paul McDermott, who is the artist who will be going into our La Petite Gallery. He is a photographer located over in Fort Lauderdale, and we're going to have a chance to talk with him before he goes off to Africa on safari. We had to get him in as quickly as we could. We will be opening our new exhibition next Tuesday, Abstraction and Expressionism. It is going to be beautiful, and we hope you can join us on October 12th for our second Tuesday art reception as we open the new exhibition, 5:30 to 7. Come have a glass of wine, courtesy of our wine sponsor, Total Wine and More. Meet the artists and spend some time with us in our beautiful art gallery. Other upcoming events in October include an evening with Chris Balzano for adults, sharing his haunted tales of Southwest Florida. That's on October 14th at 6 p.m. And we are also going to be bringing back, they've not been with us for a few years, from Gulf Shore Opera, their Divas in Duets. It'll be an evening of light opera and music. Tickets are on sale for that for October 21st. So please check out our website, see what's going on. We look forward to seeing you here at the Marco Island Center for the Arts. Val, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you at the Art Center too. To my friends out there, please know that we're thinking about you. We look forward to everybody coming back. We look forward to seeing everybody here at the Art Center. It's the beginning of our 2021-22 season. Membership has its benefits, so come on, join us as a member. And remember, once you come here, you become part of our art family, and we strive every day in every way to be your art home. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.